Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of insightful and deeply meaningful conversation. Goldilocks reminds us of how to get life just right. Regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situations we're placed in, how do we show up not too hard, not too soft, not too cold, not too hot? How do we show up right through life, through all our experiences, to then take what we can from every situation and build a life that is just right? And you are going to be blown away by our special guest today. He has been through unimaginable situations, but he has come on the other side, rising above, not only getting his life just right, he is committed to helping other people get their life just right. So put your hands together and welcome Mr. Jose Pereira to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks. Jose, welcome. Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me in your show. It's wonderful to be again with you.
This is a great honor. Jose is somebody I met a little while ago, but over time has become a friend, somebody I look up to, somebody I respect, and somebody we can bounce off ideas because he is always helping people get life just right. But something happened in his life as the CEO of CITGO Petroleum. As an executive, as a CEO, born and raised in Venezuela, an American citizen, CEO of an oil and gas industry company, life was good. Life was fantastic, and then something happened. And I want you to take us down that memory lane of what that something was, Jose, and then we'll build on that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. For your audience, exactly this happened in November 21, 2017. That was 6 years ago. I was, as you said, literally in the pinnacle of my career because I was the CEO of the company. I did a 35-year career. I was getting retired, preparing my retirement. I was really in the process of finishing my career. And I was called to a meeting to Caracas, Venezuela, a business meeting, and it began to be a settlement because it was an ambush. Literally, it was an ambush because there was having problem between the U.S. and Venezuela at that time, and we were caught in the middle of the political tensions and the intrigues that were going in the U.S. administration and the Venezuelan regime. And we were taken as political pawns and bargain chips, and they used us to negotiate because by that time, the U.S. administration was imposing sanctions to that country. They did an oil embargo, and they began to use us to leverage all these things. And the negotiation back and forward lasted 5 years. So I stayed 5 years in that hostage situation. So I became a hostage during 5 years.
Wow. That is unimaginable, a political pawn prisoner to get there from just having been the CEO that morning, right?
Yeah.
So that experience has changed you, but it's changed you to become a more kind, compassionate, and thoughtful human being who now wants to help other people in two ways, right? You help with hostage negotiations for other people, and you're coaching and developing executives and leaders so that they become mindful leaders.
Correct.
What transformed in you in that process? Because I want you to talk about that before the next question. We're going to go into the book you wrote and how that book came about.
Yeah, you said it right. This is a life changer that literally put my life in a before and an after. When I came back, as you mentioned, I have been very involved with the hostage situation here in the U.S., and I'm very close to the foundations that work with this hostage community. I was last week in Washington in an event, a foundation called Hostage US, that take care of the mental and physical health of the former hostage when they return. And I'm going to go this week again to another event, also in Washington, another foundation called the James Foley Legacy Foundation, that they take care of hostage situation. They are very involved in the journalists. They have been taking hostage in Russia, in Syria, in a lot of countries. But because one of the biggest targets of this situation are the journalists when they're doing the interviews and reports and whatever in those countries they are in war zones. They are taking hostages, and the situation that now is happening in the Middle East. So it's a big thing, and I'm very connected today to that community. But I created, through that process, I went through my coaching program that is basically to help the thought leaders how they become better leaders, because sometimes they are hostage in their situation too. So it's a different type of hostage, but it's like that. They are hostage in their beliefs. They are hostage in their in the way they can be better leaders. So this is a part of the how I decided to craft my coaching program to make them be better leaders.
I love how you have taken your hostage experience and your sense of humor and your insight into the human psyche to consider the situation leaders put themselves. They are alone, they're isolated because they're at the top, so they have nobody they can trust and talk, at least in their mind. And
Correct.
so they become hostages of their own making. I absolutely love how you are combining the two and then giving them opportunities to free themselves. That is
Correct.
absolutely powerful. So I want to pivot from here to the book. What made you write the book, and when is the book coming out?
Well, the way I decided to do my book is based on letters, because the way this situation evolved is that our first year I was totally isolated. I didn't have no communication with my family. I stayed 10 months literally without no communication. So when I had the opportunity, the first year that we began to receive external food brought by our family, because the situation of the food was terrible. I lost 100 pounds by the time. And I, when I was returning the trash cans, I began to, in the double bottom of the cans, I began to smuggle letters with my wife. So that gave me the opportunity to be sending letters to her and receiving letters from her, so my communication could be improved. And those letters become to be a 3 years back and forward coming letters that became around 1,000 letters. So that's the way I wrote my book. So my book is based on those letters, the letters that I wrote that became my memoir. The book is going to be out in the couple of weeks. I was finishing yesterday the final editing, so it's ready to be published already. And the other thing that important is that I received 2 days ago the notification that Barnes and Noble is willing to put it in their bookstores, physical bookstores all across the U.S. So there are a lot of opportunities right now with the book. The book is called From Hero
Absolutely.
to Villain, From Hero to Villain, that my true story of the CITGO6. I will tell why the CITGO6.
Beautiful. From hero to villain, my true story of the CITGO6. What a realistic title, reflection of what happened. What is fascinating to me is your wife stayed through all of that and communicated with you back and forth. We're living at an age where when one thing goes wrong, people divorce. And here in this depth of challenge, while you are struggling with no ability to communicate and you have no support system in that hostage situation, here is your wife never giving up, ready, willing, able, and committed to do her part. How did that feel for you as a husband that your wife stood by you? And what advice you have for other couples who just walk away from a long-term commitment just because something got a little harder?
Well, first of all, we have 38 years married. We have 42 years together. It's a long. It's literally all my life. We were kiddos when we got together, and she stayed 5 years taking care of me. Not only taking care, because they literally was taking care. They were supplying me food and medicine during 5 years. Okay, and having the negotiation with the U.S. government to pressure to get us released. So it was a total nightmare, but she handled to do it, and she brought me back. So literally, the hero of the story is her.
Warms my heart to hear you say that, because it takes a very strong, loving woman to stand by the man and make sure that he comes out of whatever challenge he's facing as a whole person, right? Because it's not easy. What you were facing was not easy, but she had to stay out and yet stay in your life. So please give her a big hug from me. I have never met the lady, but someday I will. And she is going to be somebody people are going to want to hear about. And over time, you're going to get to talk about her too. And
No,
you
and
mentioned,
I'm encouraging her to write her own story. So I'm
ah,
putting her to tell her own story, so she can write the other side of the coin, the suffering of the family. And even I'm encouraging her to begin to speak, because she has been all the life shy. But
mhm,
it resulted that because we have been doing interviews, and
mhm.
and we did an interview to the Univision, the Spanish channel. I remember she talking, and the journalist was crying, was really crying hearing her story. So her story has a lot of you know um, uh, touching moments that can get to the people that are going through ordeal in their life. So because the problem that when you're having any adversity, it's not only you, it's all the people that love you, that
Mhm.
surrounds you. And you know about that. You know exactly how
Absolutely.
it is. All the family
Absolutely.
is suffering. It's not only the person, it's all the
Mhm,
circle of love.
mhm. Absolutely. And I believe that would be a powerful other side of the coin to be told. And even though she's naturally shy, she had the courage and has had what it took to stand up and fight for what is right and speak up to free her husband, right? So to
Right.
me, that is one powerful lady, absolutely powerful lady. As your book comes out in a couple of weeks, there should be a way for our audience and folks out there to pre-order and get the book.
Yes. I have there's a page called Publicizer. I don't know if I can put the link there. They
Mhm.
are promoting it through that Publicizer page, the pre-order. So I have several type of pre-order. You can pre-order one book. You can pre-order a signed book. You can pre-order a book with a badge. And you can even pre-order. There is an option that you can pre-order a group of book. And one of the things, because I'm doing public speaking, so any company, any group that wants to share in a corporate event can buy several books, and part of that deal is that I can go and make a speaking in their event for free. For free, it's gonna be part of the promotion that I'm doing to promote the book. So I'm gonna leave you there the link that the person can go there and we'll see all these options. One of the things is that with the pre-order of the books, and part of the proceeds are going to be to support the foundation that today I'm involved in the hostage community. So I'm now supporting the James Foley Legacy Foundation, the Hostage US Foundation, and the Hostage Aid Worldwide. There are three foundations that I'm very close to them. And anything, if this book goes great, they're going to have part of the proceed to be, to support the foundation that do wonderful work to the families that are going through this ordeal. So it's not only the book, is that it's going to help to promote this
Mhm.
foundation.
That is fantastic. I am amazed at how thoughtful you have been through this process. People can pre-order books. When they pre-order, they can get an autographed copy or not, and they can get it in bulk as an organization. And when they get it in bulk as an organization, they also have the opportunity to reach out to you in person and
Correct.
invite you to be a keynote speaker or a thought leader expert to talk to people. And you are going to help them think through the importance of not being a hostage in your own mind, not being a hostage of a situation you created. How do you free yourself to then grow as a person and innovate as a business? That is absolutely fantastic.
I have
I
a speech. I have a speech, the podcast that I crafted. My keynote is called "From Captivity to Freedom: Embracing Resilience with the help of love, faith, and hope." Because that is exactly what I did. So this is a way I put the message out for all the thought leaders, to all the audience, how they can think that sometimes you are hostage or your situation, and then you feel that you are captive, that you have that inner force inside you, that what you have to do is release it. So there's where you become a great leader. So that's why I call it "From Captivity to Freedom." And it's part of the message that I went through. It's part of the message that is in my book. Because my book is not only my story, it's the legacy, how you can go through your ordeal and become more resilient. So this is part of the message that my book has out there.
That is going to be powerful. So I will make sure, as part of releasing this episode, we make the link to go and order the book, and then also your LinkedIn information so that people can reach out to you directly to schedule time. You can even do a session as a keynote, as a thought leader through Zoom, right? If they have employees in different places, you
I can
can
do
be
it.
in a
I can
Zoom
do it
environment.
virtual or in presence. It's matter to get an arrangement. I don't have. I'm very open.
That is wonderful. So, as you look back at your journey and how you have become even more resilient than you already were, and how love and faith and hope kept you strong, kept you grounded, and kept you from losing your mind, literally, right? So,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about how each of them made a difference for you. Love, definitely your wife, your son, they were there for you. What was that like? And then let's talk a little bit about the faith and the hope.
Well, this is very important what you're saying, because any situation you have in your life, you have to do it with the people that support you. You never had to navigate things alone. This is my first advice to anybody that's going through any situation in their life. Don't navigate things alone. Get surrounded with your circle of support, the people that love you. In my case, I will never have made this without the support of my family. My wife, my son, as you know, my eldest son, he flew to Colombia and he stayed during 4 years. He was who was supplying me the food, because the situation in Venezuela, when this situation happened to me, what was the worst moment is I believe in ever in Venezuela, because there was those sanctions, there was the oil embargo, so the economy crumbled. It was totally a nightmare. The people were starving. It was so severe the situation in Venezuela that today the Venezuelan diaspora is millions of people that flew out of the country. It's around 7 million people of a country of 30 million people. So literally a third of the country flew from the country because they were starving. So that was my situation. I was starving too, because I was in a prison starving. So my family got to, my son moved and he began to supply me food every week during 4 years. So can you imagine all the logistic and all the love that means doing that? So this is the only way I could make it. Any situation in life, people have to get surrounded to the people they love them, and the faith and the love and the hope has to do much more with your spirituality. Get connected to spirituality. Whatever you believe, the higher power. I'm a God believer. I believe in God, and I believe that God was with me. He was always there. He was taking care of me. And in my book, I narrate events that I went through there that for me are literally miracles that were happening because of the presence of God. So that there's where there comes the hope. There's where comes the faith. Because remember, the faith is the belief that the things that you haven't seen. But you believe that it's going to happen. In my case, we were in a very, very severe situation, but I was totally convinced that I was going to come back. I was convinced. I was really, really convinced that I was going to come back, and I came back. So that's part of the faith.
Absolutely. I remember growing up in the middle of a genocidal war and being a refugee in my own country and having to leave with my siblings just with the clothes on our back, and they wouldn't let my parents go. And my Muslim classmate came running that night. She's not even supposed to be out at night, but she came running at night and gave me a little framed picture, and the picture was a card, and it had a basket, and in there were two little cats, two little kittens, and they're jumping and playing, and the words it said is, faith isn't faith until it is all that you're holding on to. So you have nothing, but you have each other and you're holding on to it, and you're so sure that something good is going to come.
Yeah.
So no, I hear you. I feel the emotion that goes with it. A lot of people lose faith and their spirituality in difficult times. What advice do you have for them?
Well, you have to, it's a matter of changing your mindset. People sometimes are prisoner of their own beliefs. They're prisoner of their own beliefs. People get stuck in a belief, and if they have a negative mindset, their beliefs are going to be negative. So today I'm very, very aware about this situation because I went to trauma center. I got connected with my therapy. By the way, my therapist today we're friends. I met her in Washington. I do Zoom every week with her, so I had the opportunity to know her in person last week in Washington. And my therapist, she always tells me that the way I decided to manage this, the way I decided to verbalize, to talk about this, and I wrote my book, really has helped me in my healing process, because you begin to see the things in a way that you materialize your beliefs. So if you believe in a positive way, you're going to have positive results. So my advice to anybody that's going to any situation is, it's a matter to change your mindset. And believe me, you can do it. It isn't you, but it's a very personal choice, but you can do it. You can retrain your brain. People sometimes believe that they cannot change because this is the way they always thought, or they come from a family that think that way. You can always change your mindset, always. But it's a choice. It's a personal choice.
I wholeheartedly concur, Jose, because what happens to us is supposed to polish us, right? We all start off as a hunk of coal, and under pressure, when polished, we get to shine. We get to shine like a sparkling diamond. And every time I see you, every time I talk to you, that is the image I have. You were having a great life, but all of a sudden you were put under pressure and you didn't break. You didn't break because you had love, you had the faith, and you had the hope that the love and faith will come to bear, and you have a bigger purpose because your God made you for a bigger reason, right? And that belief is so strong.
Yeah, that's totally true. Totally true. Because another thing that I discovered during all my journey is that, because, as I say, I'm a guy that I'm a God believer. I go to my church, and I got really connected to my church, and now I'm doing church service too. So I have found that for some reason I went through this because this was part of the master plan that God was having for me. So at some point today, is for me, it's kind of a calling, it's a mission spreading the word this way, like we're talking in any audience, because I believe as much people I can get this message, it can help much people. It can change their life. It can touch their heart. And that's one of my missions today.
I am so honored and delighted that not only did you come and do this interview with me, but the fact that we can call each other as friends. We can call each other, talk to each other. It doesn't matter what time of the day. And to me, that friendship, that bond, is also an extension of that belief, of that faith, of that hope, that we can meet people as strangers and they can become part of our life. And for that, I am very grateful, Jose. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. And I'm gonna leave the links of LinkedIn and the publicizer page where the people can pre-order. Once the book is out, it's gonna be in Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Inger's Park, or the major outlet. And as I said, it is gonna be also in the physical stores too.
Absolutely. And for our audience out there, as you listen to this interview, I want you to go and click on the link I'm going to provide you and pre-order the book. If you are a leader or an emerging leader in your organization, buy the book as a bulk purchase and reach out to Jose. If you don't know how to get a hold of him, the link is going to be provided. If you are shy, you reach out to me and I will make sure the connection is made. You want him to come and talk to your team. You want him to come and talk to your organization, because we don't realize how much of a prisoner we are of our own belief system, our own thoughts, and the world we have constructed. And your own career progress and your organization's success is directly correlated to your collective ability in overcoming that and stepping into your own freedom and letting your creative juices flow. And with the faith and belief, build something that is fantastic, because your potential you still haven't seen.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do the bulk order. I cannot wait to hear your feedback. And as you go through the process, remember, part of the proceeds of the book are going to foundations that are supporting hostage negotiations and freeing of hostages. So this is also part of our social contribution. So with all your heart and all your might, go take a look at this, go support everybody in this process, because they are but for the grace of God. It could be somebody we love, and let's make sure we come together to support those who need us and celebrate those who have come out because others stood by them and made sure that they were brought out.